Hey everybody! Welcome to the live. I'm gonna get started painting soon. We just need to grab the box and we'll get going. So I'm gonna start off by showing you guys, I have two different boxes here from I'll show you, from Chronictron. And I'm gonna show you what's inside of them. So we'll get going and it'll be a lot of fun. Let me just put this up here so you can see a little better. Let's see, how's that? There we go. Okay. The first one I want to show you guys is the painting kit, just the starting painter kit. And so here's the front of the box. Oh, okay, I can see. Great. So if you guys, looks like I need to sign into chat, so I'm going to do that super quick. In the meantime, if you have any questions that you want to have me talk about acrylic paint or painting in general, I am an artist, and sorry, don't mind the awkward view here of me. And so I can help you answer any of your artistic questions, or, you know, if you're starting painting, if you have any questions about what to do with that, I can help you. So go ahead and write those questions in the chat. And once I get signed in here, I will be able to see those and answer your questions. You can also ask questions about the products I'm showing you, because I know the makers of these products are here too, or will be soon, so we can get those. Please turn the camera. Let's see. How's that? Is that better? 90 degrees. Okay. Yay! That's so interesting, because to me that was right side up. So thanks for putting that in the comments, you guys. That's very helpful. Keep doing that. If I'm doing something weird, let me know. All right. So here's the kit. Let's get started. Here we are. Beautiful box. And let's open it up and find out what's inside. And then we'll be using this painting kit to get started. So if you have bought this painting kit, you can use exactly what I'm doing and come along with it. But the first thing we have here is a paint palette. So I'll be using that. No, there's my beautiful view outside. Definitely live in the city. Okay. Some colors. So that's great, 12 different colors, acrylic set. All right, we have, you know, I'm gonna just face the camera this way as I talk about it. So we've got a color wheel. That's great. That can help you identify different colors to use. And a good, just fun little tip, if you have a color wheel, you can look at the color that's the opposite. And that's usually a good thing to do for choosing good colors that look good together. So, for example, complementary color is red and green. Red and green often look good together. And you can see how, you know, red is here, on the color scale, and green is here. So that's one way you can use this color wheel. And if you look up color wheel on YouTube or just whatever, there's a bazillion different ways a color wheel can be useful to you. So that's really cool. Got a thank you note. Thank you. Brushes. We have a nice fan brush, some round brushes. Got a lot of flat brushes in different sizes. It's awesome. I think these are silicone. I think silicone. Nylon brushes, and got the ergonomic shape. Awesome. Got a easel here. That's good. I was just learning the other day about how if you're painting on a flat surface, that it's not very good for your back if you're doing it long term. So we can use this easel. All right, I see a question here. Is the recording going to be available? I'll defer that to the person who's running this live. I'm just the person talking in the live, but the people behind it, the people who are like, we'll call them producers, I'll defer that question to them. How do you use different brushes? Ooh, that's a great question. So I'll go through that while I'm actually doing the painting, about why I'm choosing different brushes and when. Just opening that up out of the plastic so I can use it. That would be great. And you know what, in order for the camera to see what I'm painting, I actually might still paint flat, but we'll see how that goes. All right, so it looks like I have some paint by number paints here. There's a paint by number canvas in this. That's cool. Some painting instructions. This looks like this is what the paint by number is going to look like. Cool. Peacock. And here's the paint by number canvas. That's great. You can see it has a nice texture. Well, I don't know if you can see. I can see. It has a nice texture to it. And then there's lines, so that'll show you where to put the paint. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with paint by numbers, but there's little numbers. I don't know how well you can see them, but that are associated with the you can see there's numbers on these paints as well. So the little 2 that's kind of cream color there, you find the shape that has 2, and then every shape that has a number 2 on it, you paint with that cream color. And then you get this beautiful peacock. So that's exciting. We might get to that if there's time, but I'm just going to show you a different painting with, here it comes with a canvas as well. So, oh, 2 canvases. Awesome. There's a smaller one behind it that I wasn't expecting. That's exciting. Okay, so I'm going to put this camera up while I open up this plastic, and we'll get started doing a little painting. All right. So I'm going to flip this camera around. Okay, I'm going to move my box aside. I am going to be painting flat, but you guys, if you get this kit, you can use the easel and not hurt your back. Alright. So I'm going to use the bigger canvas here. And we'll put the paint by number things aside. Here's my brushes. I'm going to get started with the biggest flat brush here. So a flat brush is great if you want to make straight lines, and also since this one is big, it's going to be good for filling in large areas. You can see I'm kind of just, oh, sorry if you can hear that in the background. I think my apartment is having a fire alarm. Oh my goodness. What horrible timing. It's usually not real, so we'll see if it's real. Anyways, you can see how I'm unstiffening the bristles. Also, if it does turn out being real, I'm going to end this live and go, obviously, but I highly doubt it is. Okay, so the bristles are kind of stiff, and I just kind of loosened the bristles, and that's going to help it. And then we'll get it wet as well. I'm going to put the paint by number paints aside, and we'll be using these paints for our demonstration. Guys, I'm really sorry about that beeping. That's going to be so annoying. Okay. So there we go. I've got that all set. You know what? I'm not sure if I can flip the camera this time because it's, the live stream is so hot. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm just gonna, paint this way instead, and if that's getting really annoying, let me know, but I think it'll work out. We'll see. Okay, so here we go. I've got my canvas. Just gonna stick it here. You can see how much, I don't know if you can see, my table is full of paint because it's my studio table. So if you don't want your table to look like this, I recommend putting down some plastic or newspaper or something so that you don't get paint all over your work surface. There we go. That's in this camera. Alright, so I'm going to be painting a Ferris wheel at sunset. So I'm going to start off with some red, some crimson, and I've got my palette here, so that's great. Oh, I need to open it. So you can see, this happens with most paints. It has a little pointy thing at the top here. Let me make sure this is in the there we go. A pointy thing at the top of the lid, and you can just poke it, and then the paint will come out. So we'll stick some paint there. Getting some red out. I'm gonna get some yellow and put that next to my red. I'm gonna grab some white as well. I'm gonna put that on the other end because I like to have white on the end, but it really doesn't matter where you put your colors, it's up to you. Some people like to put them in the rainbow scale. Some people put them in order of what they're gonna use. This is just the order that I'm doing it in. What size canvases? Yeah, I'm gonna defer that to the other people as well. Oh, there you go, they got it. Do you often use tube color or the liquid paint? You know what, tube is liquid. If you're talking about dried color, I think you might mean watercolor. So these are actually acrylic paints. One sec, I'm gonna listen to this. Okay, sounds like things are fine so far. Yeah, so if it's a completely dried paint, I would suspect it's not acrylic, because you really can't work with completely dried acrylic. So yeah, these are acrylic paints, so that's good. Okay, so I've got some red, some yellow. This is not the lemon yellow, this is the Ratan Yellow. It's kind of a richer yellow. And I've got some purple here, and my white here. So I've got a cup of water. Make sure it's not a drinking cup, right? It's not gonna be good to drink from. And I'm gonna wet my brush and then wipe off the excess. And then with that, I'm going to just mix in some water into my paint so that it is more pliable. Just kind of loosening it up because it is straight out of the tube. And then with these sections here, I'm gonna use that to do some mixing. So I want a pink. I'm gonna make a pink here. So I'm going to, I just dipped my brush in water again, so it's wet. I'm gonna use some white and mix that into my red so that we can get a nice pink for our sunset. And you can see it's like a clump of paint. All I'm doing is just moving the brush over it again and again and again, kind of like kneading it into a putty instead of a clump. And then the more water you put, the more loose it's going to be. So you can just do that until it's as thick as you want it to be. This is about a good thickness. Really spreadable, but also not complete liquid. That's kind of where I like it to be. Okay, so there's a nice pink color. And I'm gonna start off in this top left-hand corner Okay, and there's a nice thing to know for beginners. You see how that stroke is really, it's not very fluid. You can see through to the canvas pretty bad. All right, you guys, we're remaining calm with the fire alarm, and the fire department is investigating. I'm sure somebody just tripped it as a gag joke, because that happens a lot. Okay, so if that happens, that means you don't have quite enough water mixed into your paint. So I'm gonna just dip some more water and mix that around again. So now it should be a little more watery, a little more flowy, and there we go. That's what we want it to look like. Okay. So I'm gonna spread this nice pink color on here. Here we go. All right, and I'm thinking now that I want to kind of start blending this pink into more of a red-orange. So I've got pink here, but not much, so I'm actually gonna mix up the pink some more. So I've got my white here, I'm mixing it up some more. And keep those questions coming, you guys. If you have more questions, we are here for you, you know? Throw them at us. Okay, so I've got some more pink here. And now I'm gonna add a bit of this nice rich yellow. I can't remember what it was called. What was it called? Ratan Yellow. Okay. So I'm mixing in some Ratan Yellow, and because the paint on the canvas isn't dry yet, see, I touch it and it comes off on my finger. It's still pretty wet. So because it's still wet, that means it'll mix really well. Pretty seamlessly, right, into this new color I'm putting on. And some people, just fun fact, when they're paint these edges as well, some people leave them white. You can do what you like. I'm gonna leave them white today just to save time. I do normally paint them, but up to you guys. All right, so now I'm going to mix in some even more of that Ratan Yellow. All right, that was literally the same thing he said last time. Okay. Just getting some water on my brush so I can mix around this paint on the canvas. Okay, so you can see a progression here. I've got the pink on top and I'm slowly getting to this darker orange color as we go. And I've filled a lot of the middle section of the canvas and with this darker color, and I'm actually gonna go in and add some white now. I need some more white. Let's get some more white out here. Add some more white to this this color I've got going. So that I can get a lighter, kind of a peach color now. Fun fact, some people mix a lot of water into their acrylics and use it kind of like watercolor, which can be a fun effect. Just something that you can try if you're feeling experimental. Is that a word? If you're feeling like experimenting, how's that? Alright, so I've got these nice streaks coming in because I hadn't mixed in that white completely. And I can go in with my brush and just blend them in if I move my brush back and forth on that spot. But you know what? I'm not going to. I actually kind of like it. It looks like streaky clouds. So I'm gonna leave it. I think it's cool. That's one of my favorite things about painting, you guys, is just that you really can just, go with the flow. Like, it's loose. You never know what's really gonna happen. Like, unexpected things happen, and it's a fun surprise, you know? And you can just ride that wave out and have a different adventure every time. Alright, so right now, you guys, I have some of that purple, and I'm mixing it in with that Ratan Yellow. So now I've got this nice, rich, dark brown going on, and I'm going to use this color now to fill in most of the rest of my canvas. And I'm bringing my palette on top of my canvas to mix because I want you to see what I'm doing when I'm mixing the paint, but don't do that when you're doing it, because then it can leave marks on the canvas. You can see me trying to like smooth those out as we go. Alright, oh, isn't this a beautiful brown? I love it. It's kind of like a sienna, kind of burnt umber combined. It's gorgeous. So what I'm doing is just creating the entire background here. Hey! Merciful miracle, the fire alarm is off. Life is good. Okay. So I'm going to mix up a little more paint. Didn't have quite enough brown. So that's great. If anybody missed how I mixed it, here we go. Got the crimson. There's two different reds here, which is really great. This red is scarlet. It's a little richer, more orangey red. This red is crimson. It's a little more blue red, which just means that you can use it for different feels in your painting. I want my feel to be a little more crimson today. So if you want to know more about that, look up color theory moods with rich colors versus warm colors versus cool colors. And yeah, there's just a ton of stuff you can learn about painting. It's never ending, but don't be intimidated, you guys. Just dive in, you know? It's the only way you're gonna start, and it's totally worth starting. You also don't have to be an expert, you know? You can have fun with acrylic even if you have no idea what you're doing. Alright. Just mixing this white in, getting it loosened up with a lot of water. Okay, now I'm gonna get some of that nice crimson. And some of that nice purple. Here we go. So I'm mixing this all in the same section, but this palette is nice because it has different sections. So if I wanted to keep, you know, the pink I used at the top in one area and this brown at the bottom, say, in another area, I could do that, and that would be totally fine. Another thing is it has this nice thumb hole, so if you want to feel like a, you know, a painter with a beret out on the bridge, you can, I don't know what accent that was, you can use it with your thumb here, and then I should be doing that. Why am I not doing that? So then I don't set it on my painting. Okay, that color is way too purple. So in order to fix that, I need to add more. I'm going to add some of this ochre, actually, you guys. I keep calling it ochre because that's what I'm used to it being called. But this one, let me look again. Oh, Ratan Yellow. There we go. Okay. A little bit more white just to get it the same color as it was before. It's still going to be a little darker, but that's okay, you know? Darker as we get further down the page. Add a little more water. All right. Enough mixing. Let's apply this bugger. So here, ooh, look at that nice purple. I like that. It's like a nice plum with a little brown in it. Looks good. I'm gonna keep that. If I wanted to make it more like the actual color I mixed before, I could go in and use a lot less purple. More just red and that Ratan Yellow put together. Here we go. All right, this is mixing well. I really like the feeling that's coming through with this. Okay, once I have this on here, I'm gonna start on my Ferris wheel. And as I look at this on the camera, I'm seeing there's this streak of white, and I was planning to just cover that up with paint, but you know what? I think I'm actually gonna make that into a cloud like I have up top there. So I'm gonna get some more white here. Just put it in a new spot there so it doesn't get mixed in. You see I've got all this purple mixed into where my original white was, so that's great. I can just move it into this nice new section where it'll be clean. I rinsed my brush out fully so it's nice and clean, nice and fresh, and I'm just gonna get white on my brush, just plain old white. And then when I apply it, I'm gonna mix it on the canvas. I'm not gonna do any mixing on my palette. This is a fun thing to do. So I've got quite a lot of water in here. That's what we'll need. And I'm just gonna add some white, some streaks of white in here. Here we go. Ooh, love it, loving it. Oh, look at these spots. Do you have a reference image? You know what, I don't. I did a little practice of this before, so I'm looking at my practice to kind of go off of, but I'll show you. But it's not the same. You can, you know, you've been hearing I've been changing it as I've been going, but I'll show you the one this is one I did earlier today just to kind of practice what I do for you guys. So that's kind of what I'm doing. But you know what, guys? I think the one I'm doing right now, I like it better. I think the sunset in the background is like these streaky clouds. I love them. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is add the Ferris wheel in the background. So I'm gonna switch brushes. We've been using this nice flat big brush for the background, so I'm gonna wash that out. What you want to do with your brushes once you're done with them, so give it a good rinse, and then I've just wiped off the excess and put it in a place where it can dry flat. If you put it in a cup or something where it's like this, the bristles can get bent and kind of damaged. If you put it like this, the water can flow down into this metal area and actually erode the glue and make your brush fall apart. So you want to rinse it out nice and then put it in an area where it can just dry out flat. So I'm just going to stick it over here for now. And let's go to my brushes. So I want some nice details here for my Ferris wheel, some nice thin lines. So I'm going to start out with this round brush. There's two round brushes here. I'm going to do the number 2 round brush, which is a little bigger than the other brush. I think it should be a number 1, let's see, or a 0. Yeah, it's a number 1. So I'm going to do my 2 round brush. You can see me loosening the bristles there because it's brand new. Ah, so fun to use brand new brushes. All right, and then use my handy dandy little thumb thing so I don't have to set it on the painting. All right, open up my black, pierce the film, and then, you know what, I'm gonna be using a lot of black. Let's get a lot on there. How do I imagine the picture? I didn't see that question before, sorry. I don't know, I just kind of thought of what would be a fun thing to draw. You know, Googled pictures of what am I thinking? A circus at sunset, because that's kind of a romantic thing. I always think that looks fun. So looking at different images of that to get inspiration. And you know, the silhouette of a Ferris wheel is just a beautiful, it's always been a beautiful thing to me. Okay, so I've just been mixing water into this paint like we've done before. It's interesting how some of the paints need more water and some of them don't. I don't know if that's because of the color they are or what, but alright, so I'm going to do this nice bold arc. Just got to go for it. There we go. Filling, you know, this nice third corner of the canvas. Something that's going to help you out here is just making sure you have really a lot of water in here. More than you did for the rest of the painting. You need a lot of water if you're making thin, nice, beautiful lines. Oh, look what I did here. So that's okay. I'm just going to grab my brush over here, kind of wipe up what I've got, and then with a wet but not so I wetted the brush and then wiped off all the excess. I'm just going to go back and forth in this area and blend it out. You can do that if the paint is still wet. If the paint's dry, you can't do that. But if the paint's dry, you can just get a wet rag and wipe it off and it'll be fine. Okay, here we go. Let's do another one. So I'm going to kind of do this in perspective. It's going to be thinner in this area and thicker over here. What I mean is the area in between the lines is small, right here, and a little bigger if you were to measure it right here, just because of the perspective. And now I'm going to do some lines radiating out into the middle. Let's see, so again, these lines are going to be close together. Need more water. Here we go. Oh, isn't it so nice that that fire alarm isn't beeping in our ears anymore? If you're coming late, there was a fire alarm earlier. Like, talk about horrible timing. Okay. We're all safe, by the way. It was a false alarm. Literally a false alarm. Okay. Here we go. Just putting the bars in for the Ferris wheel, and here's the middle thing. Okay, and now I'm going to put the cross sections here. Parallel with my two lines. Alright, and then just add a little X from corner to corner. Don't need to do it there, there's not room. Hey, thanks for the stars, you guys. Appreciate that. Did I mention my name's Christina Sandholtz? Hi, sorry I didn't introduce myself a little earlier. Alright, so we got our nice setup there, and now I'm just going to paint in some of the carriages, the cars, I don't know what they're called. The little round things that you get in to go on the Ferris wheel. So we'll do the little umbrella on the top. There we go. Some fun things to start with when you're painting are flowers. Love to paint flowers. They're nice and colorful. Sunsets are always good with some nice black silhouette, like you see I'm doing here. The high contrast really makes it so your image is set up to be really nice. People like high contrast. There's a little car. We'll do another little car here. I think I'm gonna make my cars a little smaller. That one's a little too big for me. Cart. Carriage. Anybody there know what these are actually called? Because obviously I don't. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna switch to my smaller brush now. I've been using the round number 2 brush for these nice small lines, and I'm gonna switch now to the, oops, got a little water spot on there. Switch now to the number 1 brush. Loosen those bristles, get them nice and wet, and to just make some even smaller details here. This is this number 1 round is really great for some fine details. So I'm gonna put like a little railing. This is the little railing that makes it feel like you're not gonna fall out. Gives you a little security in there. The pole connecting it. I didn't mean to put that all the way through. There we go. Man, when was the last time we got to go to a fair, right guys?